Warren Buffett once said, "A bird in the hand is worth more than two in a bush." It's a simple saying, but it holds a powerful lesson for investors. This episode is brought to you by Stonehill Wealth Management. Money can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Our team helps people understand their finances and make smart choices for their future. Now, what does this saying mean, right? Bird in the hand is worth more than two in a bush. Basically, it means don't give up on something you already have for something uncertain, no matter how tempting it seems. It's easy to get distracted by shiny new investments and lose sight of the valuable investments you already own. The goal of investing isn't to get the highest possible return. It's about getting the best return for the level of risk you're willing to take. This means considering how much you can lose if things go wrong. I always assume I'll lose more and make less than I initially think, because it's important to be realistic and not get carried away by emotions. Let's look at an example. I'm going to do a tiny bit of math. Stay with me, right? Imagine you got two investment options. Option A, you have the potential to make $5 if your investment bet is right, and you lose $1 if it's wrong. And you do your odds and estimations, you go, I think I'm going to be right if I follow this process 70% of the time. So if you have $10,000 to invest and you spread that across 10 bets, on average, you lose $3,000, right? Meaning like 3 bets, 30% of the time, 3 bets, right? Times $1,000 per bet, right? So $3,000, right? So you lose $3,000 when because you're going to be wrong 30% of the time. I'm just going through the math multiple times. However, you'll make $35,000, which is 7 times 5,000 of profit per bet, because you're betting 1,000 per bet, right? And you got a 70% chance of making money. But you'll make $35,000 when you're right, and that results in a net profit of $32,000, right? You take the 3,000 you're going to lose from the average bet odds of your 10,000, and then you're going to subtract that from the 35,000 that you make when you're right, and you get $32,000 as a net profit. So you go, okay, I got $10,000. I invested with this process, and my expected return on that is about 3 times my money if I follow this betting system from this investment, right? So that's an example of putting together a plan, doing some math, right? Now, the math is subjective, right? But this is why you want to be honest with yourself, because if you place the bet and you're lying to yourself, you're going to lose the money, right? So be conservative in your estimations and don't make up numbers that you don't feel to be true. Keep doing research until you can put odds and math to the numbers that you feel comfortable with. Let's go to option B. Option B, or investment B, you have the potential to make $20 if your investment bet is right, but you'll lose 10 if it's wrong, and your probability of being right is about 30%. I won't bore you with the math on this one. Just know that the expected return on this investment is negative $10,000. You can do all that math that I did. You go, if I invest $10,000 in these odds, right, and I can make 20 if I'm right, but I can lose 10 if I'm wrong, your expected return is negative $10,000, right? And so, again, having that process allows you to objectively say, option B does look like a very attractive return because I can make 20, right? So it's more exciting. But when I consider the odds and potential losses, investment A is a better risk-adjusted return. And so that's the better bet to make in the long run. Don't get hung up on the math, right? The numbers aren't about predicting the future perfectly. They're about adding some logic to decisions that have a lot of uncertainty into it. Investing is more like art than like perfect science. It involves a lot of judgment in the midst of uncertainty. So think of the math as just a tool to help you stay grounded and make informed decisions. Because if you just make it pie in the sky without grounding it, then you're sort of just guessing it. I'm going to give a specific example of like how I applied this thinking. And I did an episode a week or two ago about XRP because I was getting conversations from clients about XRP. And whenever in the episode, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. You'll see I have an understanding of what XRP is and the product market fit. What is unsolvable currently, at least for me, maybe somebody else knows, right? But for me, is unsolvable is, okay, the current valuation of XRP today as I talk is somewhere maybe 50, 60 billion, $70 billion market cap. So I need to know what that can grow to so I can calculate an expected return, so I can know how much I'm going to make if I'm right. I can sort of get an understanding of how much I'm going to make if I lose, right? But I don't know how much I'm going to make if I'm right, because I need to understand it's competing with Swift. What are those actual transaction fees, not guessing, right? Okay, and then what's the math around if the technology lowers the processing fees, right? And then how much global trade is going to be done in a period of time where there's going to, looking like there's going to be lots of war. You know what I mean? You just have lots of variables that I just really can't solve for, right? In companies, banks may just adopt Bitcoin as like they used to adopt gold, and they might settle up in stable coins or their own currency. Another variable is, everybody might just want to use the dollar if the dollar goes digital and becomes stable coins across Tether in different countries. So I don't want to go down the weeds of all this kind of stuff, but there's just so many variables when you get in the weeds that I can't put math to it, so I just chose to pass, right? It doesn't mean there aren't any answers. It just means I don't know the answers. I don't like to bet unless I can put math to it, and so when I don't, I'm very comfortable not betting. So that's an example of how you may use this in decision making, or how I use it in decision making, to make sure I'm making investment bets that have a good risk reward, which when I flip that, I can give evaluation to Coinbase. I can give evaluation to Robinhood. I can do evaluation on Bitcoin, right? And I can do my risk reward calculations, and I can provide, and those returns look very attractive. And then if I want to juice them up, I can just make Bitcoin a bigger part of my portfolio, diversify less, right? I can make Coinbase a bigger part. I can buy options on Bitcoin miners and Coinbase, right? I can borrow money to invest, and I can financially engineer the returns of some obscure new crypto that I don't understand by just being very concentrated on the things that I understand in the market cycle, using fear and greed as my friend, because I can buy opportunistically and sell opportunistically into those extreme emotions. Bottom line, before you sell an investment, make absolutely sure that what you're buying is truly better than what you already have. Consider the potential gains and losses and be honest with yourself about the odds. Don't be a gambler who consistently chases the next big thing. Be the house, the one who patiently waits for the right opportunities and makes smart decisions based on logic and experience. In the long run, that's how you build real wealth. And if you want to check that, go look at the Forbes 400 richest list, like since the beginning. You'll see quite a few casino owners. You're not going to see any gamblers. You know what I mean? The casino owners make it on the list, not the ones that are gambling in the casino, right? So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights. Thanks for hanging out. Be fruitful and go multiply your money.
Philip Washington Jr. is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.